Welcome back to GBGuns. Today we're out here with the Steyr M9-A2 MF. I didn't have a flashcard, so I just figured I would read it. I'm going to try some shots. Prior to bringing it out to the range, Graham and I went over the different interchangeable back straps for this and found a system that works for us. I really like that about this gun and how customizable it is. So yeah, let's get to it. We have our typical reduced size ABC zone piece of steel out there at about 20 yards. That trigger is right there. You don't really get a very positive break from it. Oh, and those sights are amazing. Okay. So what happened there is I flinched a bit, got a little excited, and realized that I probably was not around, so I chose to keep shooting rather than clear a non-existent malfunction. But like I said while shooting, I absolutely love these sights. The controllability of this is amazing, but let's see what Graham thinks before we get to a full review.
As Tia mentioned, we changed out the straps. We just prior to starting filming just wanted to get a feel again because, well, last time we were sitting in the living room just checking it out, and we went with the larger right side to fill the gap that forms in your hand around the stock of the gun, and the large back strap. Believe it or not, we both found it most comfortable. We got out here and that larger side panel felt a little bit uncomfortable. It was filling part of the gap, but at the knuckles, not on the palm, which is where I would have wanted it to be filled. Just the way that's designed, it can't fill back there, but the option was cool. Just found it interesting that both T and I found the larger back strap to be set up for a more natural trigger reach. So my 10 rounds out of this thing. Loved the originals. See how this goes. You do have to get used to the grip angle. It's certainly more wrist forward. That second time I brought it up, I was pointing at the sky because my wrist is used to a more American grip angle. That's what it takes to miss. Those trapezoidal sights, which you saw on the tabletop, famous for Steyr, really quick. I mean, I've got 0 time behind this gun before this, and once you get used to grip angle, you run out of ammo. That might have been my thumb on the slide release. As with many handguns and my long thumbs, my thumb ends up on the slide release, preventing it from locking open. We'll see throughout the rest of the review if that's a recurring thing, if I can train myself off of it, or maybe T will have to shoot more. What we've got coming up is, of course, our Full Mag +1, our trademark What's for Dinner test. We've got the spinner test for sights and trigger control, and an accuracy test, after which we will give you our concluding thoughts. Let's get to it. Of course, Full Mag +1 start things off. It's more a test of the mag, but general design feature. It can be the fault of ammo, so we always name our ammo. This happens to be CCI Spear bulk ammo, brass, from Idaho, believe it or not. Gotta say, being able to find a gun that really fits your hand, it makes a big difference in the long run. So having those interchangeable straps and sides can make a big difference. If the gun doesn't fit your hand, it doesn't matter if it's the best gun in the world. I mean, you could train for it. But anyways, Full Mag +1, we've got 18 rounds in this little guy, and our steel out there that I'm gonna aim at, trying to hit as quickly as I can, but really we're looking to see if the gun runs. No issues there. I kept my thumb off the slide lock. Ran really well, very manageable recoil. And man, I know I already said it, but those trapezoidal sights really make quick target acquisition easy. Let's get to the rest of What's for Dinner. It's What's for Dinner time with the Interestingly enough, difficult to find TV dinner tray. In 2020, 2021, not many of these out there. Big thanks to our Patreon supporters and our Ammo Squared supporters. You guys are how we keep this going. For those unfamiliar with the test, we go silly light to silly heavy, steel case, aluminum case, brass case, nickel plated brass, and now thanks to our friends at ZQI Ammunition, nickel plated steel case, hollow points, full metal jackets, truncated, you name the bullet type. And the reason why it's called What's for Dinner is we're looking to see what the gun will eat. This is all good ammo. The guns are known to be good guns. Does the combination of this particular ammo and gun work? 3 rounds, see if it feeds from slide lock. Is there enough energy to cycle and properly chamber the next round of same type? A 3rd shot just to reduce any variables because not every round is perfect. Then we'll take a look at the paper and see how this stuff prints. I get to start off this time with the lightweights, starting with Winchester's How Clean? Super Clean 90 grain. These are zinc core full metal jacket, lead free for target number 1. No issue chambering. These are always really loud, but not bad to shoot. Our second load is from Norma. This is the MHP monolithic hollow point, 108 grain, kind of an oddball weight. Zinc plated cases make for hopefully good feeding and extraction. Target number 2. Reset on this trigger is so soft. You can feel it barely, and certainly can hardly hear it once you're on the range. Next at 115 grain is the Hag Hornady American Gunner. This is their XTP hollow point. I can make jokes. Target number 3. Interesting that I'm hitting left so far. That tends to happen to me with small guns when I'm squeezing. Maybe I have a squeeze problem, or maybe these sights are a little off, or I'm not good with the sights. That's why we've got more than one shooter. There's no blaming the gun until we can confirm that. Next up, the Steyr Gold Dot 124 grains. Formerly the most popular round out there. Nickel plated case. Target number 4, if our target stops dancing in the wind here. Come on, target. We're gonna pause and get some tape. Back at it with those Steyr Gold Dots. Target, hopefully now a little better disciplined. Those are punchy, very controllable, no cycling issues.
They echo.
Next up, going lighter, we got a little jumbled up. Blazer aluminum 115 grain. Remember, aluminum and steel expand and contract at a different rate than brass. They also have a different friction coefficient inside that chamber, which is where some guns will choke on them, others not. Target number 5. I am hitting pretty darn left, and I'm trying my darndest not to squeeze. That smelled nice.
That's my line.
No cycling issues.
So our next course for What's a Dinner is a light load, thanks to me. The Wolf steel case in 115 grain. Circle number 6. Obviously, I need to learn these sights, where targets go.
And the grip angle, too, can be a little disorienting.
It is.
But you had pretty darn good control of it. That gun didn't really go very far.
ZQI nickel-plated steel case, 124 grain NATO rated. I'm expecting them to be warm. Little warning there from Graham, but they're really nice looking.
Imagine steel case ammo that doesn't rust. I mean,
For target number 7.
now you may not have felt it. I'm wondering if the audience saw it, but being more accustomed to a more American vertical style grip angle, you're coming back to rest muzzle high a little bit. Are you feeling that?
I'm definitely feeling something. I haven't quite dissected what that is yet, but I'm growing frustrated with not being able to get my sights on the target where I want them to be hitting. I mean, I'll accept a left or a right, a high or a low, but I'm not shooting very consistently. So in between grabbing that load and this one, we went down and looked at it. I guess I'm not shooting as bad as I thought. I have a little bit more confidence now. So we're gonna move on with the Norma Hexagon. These are 124 grain. These are a segmented hollow point.
I think they're just called a hollow point, but they're funky. They've got a pretty complex design.
These will go on circle number 8. That reset is so difficult to feel. If I was shooting any faster, I don't think that I would be able to really notice that reset.
Well, that's the second load where you've put 2 rounds in the same hole.
I'm okay with that. And next up we have the Federal Everything's jacketed, segmented, hollow point, synthetically covered. I'm looking forward to these. These are the 138 grain, but they always have a pleasant aroma. For circle number 9. Ooh, those are a little snappy. What I am noticing while I'm shooting is the recoil is not startling me so much that I can't keep my eyes open between shots. Sometimes that happens. No, obviously I'm not a professional, or it wouldn't happen. But I'm noticing that my muzzle's not, like, I'm staying on target, so that's kind of rewarding.
It's pretty flat shooting in your hands.
Cool. Now for some Full Metal Jacket. The PPU 158 grain supersonics.
Subsonic. If 158 grain was supersonic, those would hurt to shoot.
I don't always get it right. I'm always amazed at the fact that these are the heaviest grain, but typically very pleasant shooting. Circle number 10. Fun.
You were more confident with those.
And these smell best out of all of them. I was more confident the gun was staying flatter in my hand. I felt like I had my target a little bit better. Obviously I didn't, because I didn't put 2 in 1 there, but much more pleasant to shoot.
And we're both airing a little bit left, so at this point I'm going to say the sights might be off a little to the left. All right, now let's get to the spinner, speaking of sights and trigger control. Now for the spinner test. We've got that same CCI bulk 115 grain ammo and a 6-inch spinner. This is our Titan Great Outdoors spinner target that we've had in quite a few videos now. It's a 6-inch target at about 15 yards. The test here for us is to try to get it to spin all the way over the top. That's the game part and the fun part. The reality and the training value and the evaluation value is, do these sights give us a fine enough point of aim, and is this trigger predictable enough, and can we learn these sights and trigger quickly enough to be able to only hit that thing when it's moving away from us? Because if you hit it on the way back in, you kill momentum and you're probably not going to get it over. It's a fun game. It's a little bit of a challenge, but gives us a great chance to really analyze the sights and trigger with a little bit of unpredictable time pressure on the sights and trigger. Makes it a little harder than shooting a target. So with 10 rounds, here we go. I'm afraid of airing left. I might have screwed myself right there. Nope, didn't do it. So, sights and trigger. What I found myself doing was focusing super hard on that nice big white diamond up front and forgetting proper alignment in the back, because these are set up to give you a front sight focus, which is good for instinctive defensive shooting or panic shooting, not so great for trying to shoot small. The reset on the trigger, as we've said and mentioned, is super soft. That meant that more than once I doubted if the trigger had reset. I was so busy watching the timing of that and trying to figure out my sights. There hadn't been enough physical feedback for me to register, yes, this trigger is now ready. So that cost me a couple shots, and then I got into race and frustration, which caused me to not knock it over the top. So, what does that mean for you? Well,
that I have a chance.
Probably nothing. It doesn't mean it's not a good defensive gun. These are just my notes on how these sights and this trigger worked for me in this situation. Now it's Tia's turn.
All right. Oh, I missed the trigger on that one.
You're hitting high on it.
There's that weird math stuff. Nope, not today. What I noticed about these sights in that target are they're large, and in noticing that we have already noted it shoots a little to the left. I think I was overcompensating to some extent to figure out where I needed to put it rather than just trying to hit it. The two times that I did hit it, the first and the second shot, that was pure luck, and because of that trigger, it had reset and I wasn't quite ready for it, because it's not very definitive. It's not audible, and it's not, you can't feel it. So
you actually hit it more than 2 times. You were hitting up on the mast rather than the bell of it. We were just discussing, we noticed that our paper targets, this seems to be a 6 o'clock hold kind of sights on this gun. So our last test is a 5-shot group before we give our concluding thoughts. We'll see how maybe a 6 o'clock hold prints for those last groups. Yeah,
but it was fun. Once I started getting I think I could have done it, but I'm not going to give myself more than 10 rounds. It just doesn't seem fair.
All right, for the closing group, and this again is where we also get our closing thoughts, more important than the group. We're going to be using this time the Norma Hexagon 124 grain, not just because it says revolutionary shape on the box, but it also says outstanding accuracy. So let's see how that goes. I'm also going to be cognizant and do a 6 o'clock hold with the peak of the diamond just below the square on the left circle square.
Hot press.
I am aiming at the center of the bottom of that square, putting it right on top, or putting my diamond right beneath it. Gun is definitely hitting left.
All right, I'm using the same ammo that Graham did to shoot my 5 shots from about 7 yards at the left circle square.
Except you're going for the right circle square.
I am going to go for the right circle square.
Although the left one's still intact.
They never said I had to learn my left from my right. hot. That was really unimpressive shooting on my part. I could blame it on a million things, but mostly it's just my lack of familiarity with this gun and learning a new sight system, which is unfortunate because I really enjoy these sights. I think if I had an opportunity to train with them more and get comfortable with them, that they would be my go-to. That trigger makes it really difficult to maintain accuracy just because it's constantly messing with your head and trying to figure out if it's reset, am I gonna pull it before I'm ready, you know? So yeah, as far as this goes, I like that it's very flat. I like that it's comfortable because that it's got so many options to change and customize it for my hand and, oddly enough, Graham's. And it's a well thought out design. It's got everything that anybody could possibly be looking for in a gun. It's just going to take some time.
So my concluding thoughts on
watching.
the Steyr M9-A2 MF is that it is certainly, I know I'm so vulgar, right? Certainly a texture and ergonomic upgrade from the older. We brought the older one out and shot some rounds through it just to compare side by side before starting this, refresh our memories. The trigger on roll one feels better. That's a sample size of 1 against a sample size of 1. Don't know if it's a generational change in the trigger though. It's a nice trigger. I could see it as that's bird poop. Just got bombed while filming. Look at that. That's wonderful. At least it's organic, right? I'm not a huge fan of the trigger. It's a little soft on the take up, and that reset definitely needs work before I could really count on it, unless I just spend a lot of time training with it. Kind of the same with the trapezoidal sight system. I definitely see where the advantage is. I'm not perfect with them yet because I haven't spent a ton of time with them. So, like most pieces of equipment, it's only as good as you are when you're well trained with it. No functional issues with the gun whatsoever. Felt very flat in the hand. Speaking of hand, here as I go gripping on this fresh bird poop again to demonstrate. It rides really low in the hand. And on top of that, you've got your wrist canted forward more than you do on a lot of American designs. Some say that allows you to get some more forearm strength into countering the flip of the gun. I don't know. I'm not a biomechanical engineer, but I can say that this is really manageable recoil, very comfortable to shoot. It's just a matter of learning that trigger and those sights. It's a little bit different than what you're used to. But to be frank, if you're an American buying a Steyr, you are looking for something different anyways.